All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a mental model that honestly can change everything. It's called the law of control. The best way to think about it is like installing a brand new operating system for your mind, one that's built for power and for peace. Let's just start with a simple fact. Most of us, well, we're just exhausted. We feel drained, spread way too thin, and we're constantly fighting this sense of being overwhelmed. But what if the source of all that exhaustion isn't really your workload, but how you're approaching it? You see, here's the real problem. We spend so much of our precious energy trying to move things that literally cannot be moved. It's like we're pushing against a solid brick wall, expecting it to just give way. And then we wonder why we're so frustrated and tired at the end of the day. This quote from the Daily Stoic just nails it, doesn't it? Yelling at the person at the airline counter is not going to stop the blizzard. Complaining about the traffic jam isn't going to make the cars magically disappear. You're basically fighting reality itself, and that is a fight you are going to lose 100% of the time. So if that's the problem, then what in the world is the solution? Well, lucky for us, it's an idea that's been around for thousands of years, and it was perfected by the Stoic philosophers. It all comes down to one simple concept: understanding your circle of control. Now, check this out. What's amazing here is how brutally simple this is. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus laid it all out for us. Look at that column on the left. Things not in your control. Your body, it can get sick. Your reputation, that depends on what other people think. And the big one, other people's actions. Now, look at the right. This is your kingdom, your opinions, your choices, your desires. It's all the internal stuff. So when you boil it all down, there is only one thing you have absolute, unbreakable control over, and that is your own mind, your reasoned choice. That's it. That is the entire kingdom you're in charge of. And you know what? Realizing this is probably the most freeing feeling in the world. Okay, so let's see how this ancient idea gets a modern kind of strategic upgrade. The author Robert Greene, he takes this principle and he reframes it for the messy reality we live in today. He calls it radical realism. Now, this isn't about being passive. It's not about giving up. It's actually the complete opposite. What Greene is arguing here is that accepting reality is the very first step to changing it. It's a strategic move to save your energy for the battles you can actually win instead of wasting it all on the ones you can't. And this quote just brilliantly illustrates the point, but from a totally different field. The legendary community organizer Saul Alinsky, he knew that if you want to create real change, you can't start with some fantasy of how things should be. You have to start with a clear-eyed, totally unsentimental look at what's actually in front of you. Okay, so all of this makes sense, right, philosophically. But how does this actually apply to our careers, to our day-to-day lives? Where should we be focusing our energy to build something that really lasts? Well, for that, we can turn to a really simple but powerful framework. The entrepreneur Stephen Bartlett lays out these 5 buckets of professional potential. And I want you to notice the order here because it's crucial. It all starts with knowledge. Then, when you apply that knowledge, it becomes a skill. Those skills, they make you valuable, which helps you build a network. That network can give you access to resources. And all of that, together, builds your reputation. You see, it's like a logical cascade. But then, Bartlett introduces a concept that I think we can all relate to, unfortunately. He calls it the professional earthquake. This is that moment when everything gets shaken up. A layoff, a startup that fails, an entire industry pivots. It's that moment the ground just gives way right underneath your career. And here it is. This is the core lesson. An earthquake can absolutely shatter buckets 3, 4, and 5. Your network could vanish, your resources can get wiped out, your reputation might take a serious hit. But look at what's left standing. Your knowledge and your skills. The first 2 buckets. The things most deeply inside your circle of control. They are earthquake-proof. And this connects perfectly back to Robert Greene's work. When we chase status, that's bucket 5, reputation, or we chase money, bucket 4, resources, without having a solid foundation in those first 2 buckets, well, we're building on really unstable ground. We're basing our choices on things outside of our direct control. And that, as Greene warns, is exactly where toxic patterns start to emerge. So, how do we make this a daily practice? How do we train ourselves to actually live by this law and not just understand it as a cool idea? It really comes down to reframing every single challenge that comes your way. This is the mental shift. That traffic jam, the rude email you got this morning, the project delay. What if these aren't obstacles sent to ruin your day? What if they're actually training opportunities? Each one is a chance to step into the ring with a sparring partner and practice keeping your cool, practice choosing your response, practice staying inside your circle of control. And this is the ultimate move from the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. When someone is rude or irrational or aggressive, the temptation is to match their energy, right? But doing that is letting them control you. The real power, the best revenge, is to refuse. To stay calm, to stay rational, to stay good. To simply not be like them. That's how you win. So let's end with this, a question for you to take with you. Just think about your life right now. What's the immovable object? What's the storm you can't stop that you've been yelling at? What is that one thing you will decide to stop wasting your precious energy on starting today? Because remember, the power isn't in moving the object, it's in choosing to walk away and focus on what you can actually control.